So the Eagles just got some huge news before taking on the Vikings, as not only did they just get a much-needed boost to their defense with the return of a crucial player, but at the same time, they also got some unexpected, potentially unfortunate news on Jalen Carter. Meanwhile, it looks like we're officially set for a Jalen Hurts versus Carson Wentz battle in Minnesota, so what are the keys to slowing him and the Vikings offense down, and can the Eagles offense, and specifically the running game, finally get going? Well, let's break it all down starting right now. Alright, so the Eagles vs Vikings Week 7 NFL matchup is just a couple days away, and this is going to be a huge game for both sides. I mean, for the Eagles, obviously, they're currently in the middle of a 2-game slide. Their last game versus the Giants was absolutely embarrassing. There's a lot of problems that either appeared in that game or that have lingered on pretty much throughout the entire season that need to get fixed. And we're at the point where the fan base's confidence in this team has definitely been shaken. So they need to come out in this game and find a way to respond, fix some of these problems, and bounce back with a win. Meanwhile, for the Vikings, they've kind of had an up and down weird season so far, with the main storyline obviously being what's been going on at quarterback. They've also played 2 of their games in London, and they've had moments of dominance along with moments of struggle. And, all things considered, I personally think they've played pretty well overall and showed a lot of promise on both sides of the ball. But still, they sit at just 3-2 and are sitting behind both the Packers and Lions in the NFC North. So they need a win to keep pace with them here early in the season. So both teams desperately need a win, and this matchup specifically is going to be fun. I mean, these are 2 potential playoff teams in the NFC. Both have a lot of talent, and obviously there's the whole Carson Wentz element that I talked about in my last video, with him taking on his former team and Jalen Hurts. So again, it's definitely going to be a fun game. And for the Eagles, while they do have a lot of things to get fixed and a lot of areas of emphasis in this game, I think the number one priority is simple. Get Saquon Barkley and the running game going. I mean, as I talked about in my last video, this Vikings defense is very tough. They're very good at a lot of things, as they rank in the top 6 in yards, passing, and scoring. Their pass defense specifically is ranked number 2 in the league. Their pass rush is solid, and overall, they have a lot of talent. Not to mention their defensive coordinator, Brian Flores, is a very creative and aggressive DC and play caller that keeps offenses off balance with his unique pressure packages and by disguising things. So the Eagles offense is definitely in for a very big challenge, and they know that.
Well, they've always been a really good team. They fly to the ball, very well coached, great players, great front seven. And then in the back end, they fly around to the ball, and they play what they play very well.
No, they do a lot of things, man. They do a lot of coverages. They mix up. They got a good front, and they play extremely hard. They punch the ball out, so our work is cut out. We're excited. I'm going against Isaiah, which is my friend, so it should be very fun. So
you just never know what you're going to get first, second down. Tape says what it says, but at the same time, we know that with the Brian Flores defense, expect the unexpected.
Yeah, again, the Eagles offense is definitely in for a challenge. And again, this group has a lot to get figured out, whether it's the passing game and just being more consistent there, the offensive line, the overall execution, and of course, the play calling. But above it all, and something that will help with every single one of those issues, is if they can simply just get the running game going.
I think if we establish a run game, that'll take care of everything. And like I've said, the last couple of weeks, we're either one block away or the execution just isn't there.
The run game has probably been the Eagles' biggest offensive problem all season long for a variety of reasons, both execution and play calling wise. But as the guys have been saying for a while now, they feel like they're really, really close to getting it figured out. And while this week is definitely a very tough challenge for the offense in many aspects, one area that they might actually be able to take advantage of is the Vikings' run defense, as that has easily been the weakest part of Brian Flores' unit so far, as they rank 24th in that area. So this is as good as an opportunity as they're going to get Saquon Barkley and the running game going. And again, if they can do that, that'll help to solve a lot of the other issues and really open things up for the offense as a whole. Now, can they do that? That remains to be seen. I mean, like Lane Johnson pointed out after last week's game, they got to be less predictable there. They got to be able to keep the defense off balance. And they also honestly just have to execute better, plain and simple. But again, the good news is everyone seems to be confident with the way that things are trending, and they think they're close to fixing it, especially after the offensive meeting that they had earlier in the week. and the week of practice and preparation that has followed.
What gives you confidence the offense will look a little different going against the Vikings?
I think the thing that gives me confidence is our preparation this week. I know we came in, with the right mindset. I think we had a great week of practice, but now we got to stop talking about it and stop saying we're one play away and this and that third, and just going out there and executing. And we did have a great week of practice. Now we just got to go put it all together on Sunday. What goes into establishing the run? One, for me, it's making sure that I'm detailed. I'm where I need to be. My eyes are in the right spot. My shoulders are square, and make people miss and get yards off the contact, and then dominating up front. I came in and kind of said, what better way to get things rolling than banking on what we know best and what we do best and what we have. And those guys over there, I said it before, we're not allowed to bet, but I'll put a lot on the line and putting on those guys over there in that corner. So continuing trusting them and making plays when it has to be, when it's time to make plays.
I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. Give me your predictions for how many yards Saquon Barkley is going to have in this game, and overall, what's your confidence level that the Eagles' offense can actually get some of their problems fixed in this game? Meanwhile, switching over to the other side of the ball, obviously the biggest challenge for the Eagles is going to be dealing with the elite cast of weapons that the Vikings have, led by, of course, Justin Jefferson, along with Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson, because that's about as talented a group of receivers as there is in the NFL. And on top of that, they present a challenge just with the way that they operate under Kevin O'Connell. So the Eagles defense is definitely going to have their work cut out for them as well.
Yeah, it's kind of like a check with me run game. It's a traditional offense with a lot of under center that brings a lot of challenges in the boot department, the play action pass department, and then they got playmakers on the outside.
Obviously, he's pretty special. What he can do, the way he can get open. A lot of teams, double him a lot of times. But yeah, he's good at, he's a receiver you'd want on your team. He can get open, run really good routes, catch the ball really well. So it'll be a challenge for us for sure.
Is it harder as a group now that Addison's back as well? He's a playmaker, so the whole picture might change a little bit when trying to deal with Jefferson?
Yeah, definitely it'll be a little different. Obviously, having two playmakers like that, a good tight end as well. So reminds me of the same guys that, kind of similar to the guys that we have on our offense, how talented they are. So it'll definitely be a challenge. We're going to have to mix up our calls, mix up our looks, try and throw different things at them.
Yeah, the numbers might not be there as much as they are with the Vikings defense, but no question about it, the Vikings offense definitely presents some challenges. Again, none more than that star-studded group of receiving weapons that they have. Luckily for the Eagles, though, they got some very good news on Friday, as their final injury report of the week did in fact confirm that cornerback Quinyon Mitchell will be active for the game this week, as he was listed with no injury designation and will make his return after leaving the Giants game with a hamstring injury. So, obviously that's great news for many reasons. Obviously, Q is one of the best corners in the game and a super important piece of this Eagles defense. We saw what the Birds' pass defense and specifically the other corners looked like against the Giants' underwhelming group of receivers with no Malik Neighbors and no Darius Slayton. And now they got Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. So again, getting Q back is absolutely crucial, and I'll be interested to see if he actually shadows Justin Jefferson in this game or not. Slowing him down is going to easily be one of the keys for this Eagles defense to win this game. But aside from that, I do want to point out that there's actually still been a little bit of concern from fans regarding Quinyon's injury, as videos surfaced from Thursday's practice specifically, showing Mitchell going through some different individual drills, and he seemed to not be going full speed and not fully trusting that injured hamstring. So that's led to some speculation that he could still be dealing with the effects of the injury. And let's not forget, soft tissue injuries like a hamstring can oftentimes linger on for a long period of time and wind up being serious. So hopefully he's not rushing back prematurely by playing this week against the Vikings. I'm going to choose to trust him and the Eagles medical staff that everything's all good there, but that'll definitely be something to monitor in this game. And of course, another storyline to watch is going to be Carson Wentz versus his former team, as on Friday, Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell did in fact confirm that it is going to be Wentz starting this week over J.J. McCarthy, as the second-year quarterback is still not fully healthy yet, while he also gave official updates on all the other Vikings injuries.
Just starting out, just game statuses for the game. The only player that will be out this week is Andrew Van Ginkel. Everyone else will either be questionable. Tyler Batty and Blake Cashman more so procedurally, just with the roster mechanics that will likely take place over the next 24 hours or so. Ty Ingram, Dawkins, Juergens, J.J. McCarthy, and Brian O'Neill will all be questionable. Everyone else will go in without a designation. Carson Wentz will start the football game. Thought he's had a good week of practice, as well as J.J. McCarthy. I was really proud of the work he put in, as he kind of continues to push through the later stages of this rehab. Feel good about him being available, but he will be the emergency third quarterback. We went into the last game with two and didn't quite feel like that was the smartest thing to do, and feel good about where he'd be at if he had to play in that third quarterback capacity. So Max will back up Carson Wentz.
Obviously a lot has changed since Carson Wentz was here in Philadelphia, but it's still going to be fun to watch him go up against this Eagles defense and to see him and Jalen Hurts go head-to-head. And again, there's still part of me that roots for Carson, even with the bad stuff that happened in the fallout here in Philly, just because, I grew up watching the guy and he was my favorite player for a while. But, definitely hoping that the Eagles can shut him and the rest of the Vikings offense down this week. Like I talked about in my last video, they just got to be able to keep him in the pocket, as well as get pressure on him and hopefully finally get some sacks, which we as Eagles fans know that Carson tends to hold on to the ball, so there should be opportunities there, and hopefully they're able to create turnovers as well. And overall, for the Eagles defense in this game, the formula is honestly pretty simple, as it is every week. Just play physical, stop the run, get after the quarterback, and create turnovers if you can. I get that's not exactly groundbreaking insight, but it's true. So hopefully they can do that and bounce back after an embarrassing effort versus the Giants last Thursday night. However, one thing that could make things much more difficult is if they're without Jalen Carter once again, as we got some somewhat surprising news on Friday that Carter was a limited participant in practice and is officially listed as questionable for the game. And the reason I say this is a surprise is because on Wednesday, Carter was a full participant, and he himself said that he was going to play. So the fact that he was downgraded to limited on Thursday and Friday and is now questionable is concerning and definitely raises some questions. Did he tweak something in practice? I feel like that's the logical explanation. Maybe Carter just jumped the gun saying that he was definitely going to play, or who knows, maybe this was the plan all along and he's still going to play. He's just listed as questionable. So, I don't know, but again, Carter's an extremely important part of this defense, and we saw how badly they missed him last week. So, if he can't play, that really hurts. So, fingers crossed he's able to go. Meanwhile, in regards to other injury news, Landon Dickerson is questionable. My gut feeling says he won't play, and honestly, I think that's a good thing. I think I want him to have a little bit more time to rest and just get healthy, but we'll see there. And Grant Calcaterra is also out for the game. Regardless of all that injury news, though, I think this is going to be a tough game either way for the Birds, but things seem to have been positive all week. Everything seems to be trending in the right direction. Everyone seems to be optimistic that they're going to get it right and they're going to get some of these issues fixed. And you guys know that I'm going to pick my Eagles, so I got them winning by a final score of 30-23. But that said, give me your score predictions down in the comments below, and also, while you're at it, make sure you subscribe and you turn on notifications so you don't miss any other Eagles coverage coming throughout the rest of the season, and also leave a like down below because that really does help me out a ton. Let's see if we can get to at least 500 likes today, and also hit the hype button because that helps me out a ton as well. And if you do want to watch another Eagles video, then you can check this out right here. And now, with all that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.